1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Farzana Khan. First, the headlines. Prime Minister says relationship between Pakistan and Qatar is based on mutual trust and shared goal of achieving prosperity for our peoples. Planning Minister has said Pakistan is seeking to change structure of its economy through multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan economic corridor. Pakistan appeals to the world community to come forward in providing generous assistance to the flood-affected people in various parts of the country. Corps commanders in a conference in Rawalpindi today resolved to spare no efforts for mitigating the sufferings of the flood affectees. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh acts of state terrorism martyred 3 more youth in Baramulla district today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Sharif has said Pakistan is keen to build solid strategic relations with Qatar by enhancing economic cooperation in diverse fields of mutual interest. In an interview with Qatar news agency, he observed that the relations between the two countries have seen a steady and positive trajectory over the last few years. We want to transform our historical and fraternal bilateral relationship into a more robust strategic relationship. The Prime Minister said relationship between Pakistan and Qatar is based on mutual trust and shared goal of achieving prosperity for our peoples. We have had excellent cooperation in various fields, including energy, manpower export, and people-to-people linkages in the past as well. Meanwhile, in a tweet, Sharif said Pakistan and Qatar have a clear vision of the future and greater awareness to make economic cooperation the pivot of bilateral ties. He said upgradation of bilateral relationship will offer new opportunities and avenues in a swiftly changing world. As a result of the Prime Minister's successful meetings with the Qatari leadership and traders, Qatar Investment Authority is preparing to invest $3 billion in different sectors of Pakistan. Minister for Planning Ehsan Iqbal has said Pakistan is seeking to change the structure of its economy through multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project. Addressing an event of Pakistan Business Council in Islamabad today, he described the corridor project as a strategic vision aimed at transforming Pakistan into an industrial economy. Minister for Industries and Production Saeed Murtaza Mahmood has emphasized for enhancing exports from Pakistan to China. Talking to Chinese ambassador to Pakistan, Nong Rong, in Islamabad, he said Pakistan has a big potential in agriculture sector, especially fruits can be exported to China after value addition. He also asked the Chinese companies already working in mobile manufacturing, automobile and other sectors to bring more investment to Pakistan. The Chinese ambassador assured to support Pakistani agricultural sector through modern technology to enhance the yield of crops. Minister of State for Finance, Dr. Aisha Ghaus Pasha, has said that all stakeholders should collectively work to strengthen the country's economy. She was addressing a seminar on national identity and cohesion, unity and diversity in Islamabad today. She said the government took difficult decisions to address the economic issues. She said the government is working on structural reforms which are important to bring equitable and inclusive growth. She stressed we have to learn to live within our means. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Maryam Aurangzeb has termed flood situation in the country a national emergency. In a statement today, she said a national spirit is required to cope with the devastation caused by the calamity in Balochistan and Sindh provinces. The Information Minister asked the segments of society to give donations to the help of flood victims, and a big amount will be required in view of the large-scale devastation. The donations can be deposited in the Prime Minister's Relief Fund 2022, account number G-12164. Minister for Climate Change Sharif has appealed the world community to come forward in providing generous assistance to the flood-affected people of Pakistan. Addressing a news conference in Islamabad today, she said around 30 million people have been directly affected by the floods. She said Pakistan has received unprecedented rainfall during this monsoon. She said overall the country received 241% more rains this month. Sharif said the government is making all-out efforts to rescue people and provide them relief assistance. She said heavy machinery is being used for dewatering of inundated areas. COAS Conference has expressed the resolve to spare no efforts for mitigating the sufferings of the flood affectees. The conference was held in Rawalpindi today under the chair of Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa. The forum was briefed in detail on external and external security situation with particular focus on flood situation in the country and ongoing relief operations being undertaken by Army foundations. Talking on the occasion, Army Chief General Qamar Javed Bajwa directed formations to render all possible support to the flood affectees, and every single affected individual must be reached to bring comfort in this hour of distress. Pakistan and the United States have agreed on taking bilateral ties to a higher level. The agreement was reached at a meeting between Pakistan's ambassador to the United States, Masood Khan, and chairman of the U.S. House Committee on Foreign Affairs, Gregory Meeks, in Washington. They discussed matters pertaining to parliamentary exchanges, security cooperation, and economic partnership. Separately, the ambassador also had a meeting with the U.S. Ambassador for International Religious Freedom, Rashad Hussain, and discussed with him human and religious rights as well as interfaith harmony. Indian troops, in their fresh act of state terrorism, martyred 3 more youth in Baramulla district today. The troops martyred the youth during a violent military operation at Kamalkot in Uri area of the district. Earlier, the troops martyred 2 youth during a similar operation in Naushera area of Rajouri district on Tuesday. The troops also arrested 2 youth, Muhammad Yusuf and Manzoor Ahmed, in Petkot area of Bandipura district. The personnel of Indian forces and agencies continued their search operations and house raids in different areas of Srinagar, Badgam, Kupwara, Pulwama, Islamabad, Shopaiya, Kolgam, Ramban, Kishtwar, Doda, Rajouri, Poonch, Katwa, and Samba districts, subjecting the locals to severe harassment. Meanwhile, in a statement, Jammu and Kashmir Democratic Freedom Party, headed by incarcerated Shabir Ahmad Shah, condemned the upsurge in the Indian brutalities in the occupied territory. It said the continued Indian military violence poses a serious existential threat to the Kashmiris reeling under India's brutal suppression. Iran says it is carefully reviewing the United States' response to the European Union-drafted nuclear deal. In a statement, Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasser Kanani said Tehran has received the U.S. response through the European Union. He said Iran will share its views with the European Union upon completion of its review. In the Kashmir Premier League, second eliminator will be played between Bagh Stallions and Overseas Warriors in Muzaffarabad today at 7 p.m. And finally, the weather report. Rain with wind and thunder showers is expected in Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, North and East Balochistan, Gilgit-Baltistan and Kashmir during the next 12 hours. However, a few heavy falls are also likely in Islamabad, Upper Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, North and East Balochistan and Kashmir. To end the news, the main points once again. Prime Minister says relationship between Pakistan and Qatar is based on mutual trust and shared goal of achieving prosperity for our peoples. Planning Minister has said Pakistan is seeking to change the structure of its economy through multi-billion-dollar China-Pakistan economic corridor. Pakistan appeals the world community to come forward in providing generous assistance to the flood-affected people in various parts of the country. Co-commanders at a conference in Rawalpindi today resolved to spare no efforts for mitigating the sufferings of the flood affectees. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred 3 more youth in Baramulla district today. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.